My name's Aaron. I've been in Arizona for 3 years now. This is home, which is really special. I come from Baltimore, DC, and being here for 3 years, I can feel very grounded and centered here. So it's special to meet people in the environment that now it feels like home because it was a transition period for me. How many of you are from Arizona? Amazing. How many of you are not from Arizona? I just want to visually see it. Okay, great. The last several years of my life, I've been committed to a really interesting cause. I spent about 15 years coaching. I started in athletics, and my journey began coaching girls soccer professionally. I don't know if you've spent a lot of time around 15-year-olds, but it taught me a lot. And there's been a consistent theme. Now, today, I'm a leadership coach and a vision architect. I help leaders at the highest level get reconnected with where they want to go. It's easy to get disconnected from where you're going. I think our world is incredibly fractured when it comes to where you want to go. And if you've made any kind of transition in your life ever, whether it's moving cities, starting a new job, recommitting to growth, then you know what it's like to transition. And in these intersections, I find the most interesting individuals. I get to see people who are ready to change, grow, and evolve. And underneath all that is this call to leadership. Leadership, and our conversation today is not about you becoming a CEO. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about leadership differently. I've had this idea in my mind that the word vision has been mislabeled for a long time. That we use vision and we talk about vision a lot. We don't actually have a system for it. So for the last 5 years, I've been working day in and day out, working thousands of hours with CEOs and leaders all across the country to decode what vision looks like. Today, I want to invite you to grow. I want to invite you into a new idea of leadership, and I want to define vision for you differently. What we're going to do is talk about a little bit of my history, a little bit of what I learned, so you know that I'm not just talking out of ideas. These are like proven frameworks, strategies, systems, and tactics that I've used with CEOs that are running companies worth $90 million, all the way down to small mom and pop shops. Once we're done that, I want to walk you through a little bit of a framework where you can take some action steps from this presentation. Does that sound fair? Let's start with this idea of vision. I think vision is a colloquial term. Like, we talk about vision a lot. How many of you have ever said, like, I have a vision? Anybody? I hope so. The idea of vision is really exciting to me. But again, I don't know that we use it in its most powerful form. Today, I want to recalibrate that for you. The idea of vision for me has not been about motivation. I think motivation is really important, but I don't use vision for that. And I would encourage you to rewrite your definition as well. Here's what vision is for most people. It's a board on the wall of all the things they want, isn't it? We talk about, like, build a vision board. And what do you put on it? A whole bunch of shit that you want. You put the boat, the house, the car, the dream, the wardrobe, the closet, the little, like, chaise that you put in the walk-in area in your room where you get dressed with the, like, luxurious Beauty and the Beast mirror, or it's a Beauty and the Beast library. That sounds cool. But vision to me is more than that. So I'm going to draw it for you. Vision for me is an idea, and bigger than an idea, it's a method. Vision is a criteria. It's how I know whether something is in or something is out. It's how I make decisions. If I can imagine myself being fit, well, then I have a very clear set of yeses, don't I? I also have a very clear set of no's. But what happens over time is our vision gets splintered. It gets really wide. I don't know if this has been you, but it's certainly been me. It was so wide at one point, I ran multiple businesses, and I just said yes and yes and yes and yes, and all of a sudden, yes, gets you stretched really thin. Anybody ever been there? Ooh, boy, not the best place to be. When you get really wide, we end up with a false yes. Something that should be a clear no, something cut out from our life, is entertained. And all of a sudden, we're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing so many things, this is great. And we splinter and stretch, and rubber band eventually snaps. We need vision, and we need a very clear vision, a narrow vision to be able to level up. And as you connect with this idea today, I want you to consistently think about what in your life has to be narrowed, what has to be cut, so that you can level up. Now, I'll tell you why people call me. They say, hey, I'm ready to level up. Anybody here, like, You ready to level up? I hope so. Leveling up and the journey of leveling up has been my study. It's been my degree. Now, I went to college. I played soccer in college. So I'm not sure if my degree was more important or chasing a round ball. I'm not sure. But one of those things mattered. That has not been my study, though. For the last decade, I've been spending a lot of time with leaders and helping them learn to lead better. And most of them are splintered so wide and they lose track of their vision. They say they want to build a company and then adding investors splinters their desires, or they add complexity, all these different dynamics. And as I've coached more and more of these leaders, I've been working on a formula. How do you make vision real? That's what I'm going to show you today, at least a little bit of it. I'm going to take one of those frameworks and I'm going to crawl you through it step by step. Sound good? You in for that?
Yeah.
Before we do the framework, I want to walk you through 3 principles of vision and leadership that are important. The idea that most of us live by with vision is that it's a motivational tool, not a criteria. But in order to get a really dialed in vision, we're often left with, like, to our own devices. I get very lost sometimes. Someone's like, hey, what do you want? Oh, that's a very hard question, isn't it? It's very confusing to think about what do you want, because there's limitless options. What do I want? I mean, I would love a hovercraft. I don't know, private island, boat that goes underwater also, then becomes an amphibian, and then I can fly. Like, that sounds great. Am I living in fantasy or am I living in reality? When I think about vision and what it does for leaders, though, it can craft so much growth. And you cannot, it is impossible in every ounce of my bones, in the experiences I've had in coaching for thousands of hours with high-level CEOs, I have not found anyone that can grow without vision. You need some binding agent to level up. I'm going to walk you through 3 principles of vision and leadership and why they're so tied together. If you feel called to take notes, please do. Maybe something inspires you today. Maybe it'll reach you tomorrow. Principle number 1, one of the most important ones. There is no such thing as leadership without growth. And there's no such thing as growth without leadership. As much as we might say we can improve without becoming a leader, you cannot grow without becoming a leader. And it doesn't mean you have to, like, start a company, build a firm, or have a giant team underneath you. But even if you're just working with someone as a client who wants to buy a home, where are you leading them? To a home. If you're leading them through a transaction, leadership and your ability to lead them becomes even more critical. I've learned this because I have a really good teacher. He is 3 years old. Great teacher. The more I spend time with him, his name is Emerson Quest. The more I spend time with him, the more I recognize that leadership is the way that I grow. And if I want to grow and I want him to follow, I have to have a destination in mind. That responsibility is what leadership is all about. Leadership is responsibility. And if you want more growth, then you want more responsibility. Yes? Do we agree on that? This, to me, is a fundamental piece of what obstructs many from growing. I don't want additional responsibility, Aaron. I want it easy. Can I have it easy, please? And I promise you that my little man would say, Dad, I don't care, if he could. But he can't say that. All he can say is, Dad, I want to run. Dad, I want to play. Dad, I want to learn. My situation with him has been rather complicated. I've had to fight to be in his life. And what it's summoned out of me is that if I want to grow as a dad, I have to be prepared to lead as a dad. I can't be passive. Leadership is an active role. And in particular with him, leadership is love. It's the most important ingredient. If you care for your clients, you get better results, don't you? When you genuinely own as a responsibility the objective that they have, if that's to buy a home, if you can take them to that home, if you can drive them to that outcome and care for them the entire way, you have a much longer, brighter, more optimistic future. I think that's the most important piece. That doesn't take you very far before we have to talk about principle number 2. You cannot lead where you cannot see. So leadership is vision. It's hard to know what you want sometimes. It's really difficult to know because there's so many options. But if you all are responsible for taking someone to their space, to their home, you have to be able to see potentially what they cannot. Now, the way that looks in practicality is, hey, I see something for you. Let me help you discover it. Let me guide you through the process. If I could say, hey, do you want to go to the top of Kilimanjaro? What I want is a Sherpa. I want someone that has been to the top of that mountain who can grab me by the hand and say, Aaron, I got you. Let's go. If you fall, I'll pick you up. If you're not sure, I'll make sure that you are certain. But that process requires someone to know the way, doesn't it? Here's what I find fascinating about leadership. Most of leadership is about who. Our conversation is about who. But if I follow someone, what am I more concerned about? Where? If I'm going to get behind someone and they are taking me to a destination, I need the destination. I need to understand where they're going. Otherwise, what am I following? And we live in a world where the word follower is disconnected from the act of following. We have to understand the destination. And if we can, for a moment, say, hey, vision is not about the things that I want on the wall. It is instead about the destination that I'm marching towards. Get behind me and I'll take you there. Now we can see how responsibility comes first and vision comes second. Yes? Follow me here? It's difficult sometimes because it summons the best of us. But if we want to grow, if we really are ready to deliver at a higher level, both of these things become necessary. I have to, one, connect with responsibility. I'm prepared to guide you and to hold you and to care for you and to show you love for the place that you are going. And I can tell you where we're going. I ran a startup in Baltimore, and for a while, the vision was to bring to life a sport around money. We made it for kids. I was a soccer coach for a long time, and I built this startup because I watched kids not learning. I saw them disconnected from school, and so I said, "Hey, let's build a sport out of money." And we took it all across the DMV area. We raised capital, and then we got slapped by COVID, hurt. And in that, my vision got disoriented. I started saying yes to everything. The startup frazzled, and I was quickly like scatterbrained. I couldn't figure out what was next. I had a tough time making decisions, and I made many wrong ones. And the startup collapsed. I lost sight of my vision. I lost sight of what matters. I lost sight of where I was going. My team sat me down one time, and they were like, Aaron, we have no idea how to follow you anymore. 1 week, you want to go this way, the next week, this way. And we are being whiplashed left and right. We can't follow you. You aren't clear. Leadership is simple. Leadership is hard. This idea of leadership and vision connect effortlessly when combined well. If you can be responsible for your team, for the people in your life, for your goals, your destination, all those things, you can actually guide your team somewhere special. You can guide a client somewhere special. Now, when people come in and say, hey, Aaron, take me to the top of the mountain, I can say, look, we have a methodology that we've been building. We're going to take you from 0 to clear in 6 months. Your business, your life, your health, your adventure, all of it in 6 months. Here's a method. Here's a process. You can trust the process. But someone has to know where you're taking. And I think regardless of what you're selling, sales is often about vision. Can you point someone not to the transaction, not to the cost, but to the outcome and the place that they end up? Yes? If someone says, I can see it, Aaron, I can see what the house looks like, then we can say, then let me guide you there. Let me guide you through the process to get there. I'll give you an example of this. If you went to a personal trainer and you said, hey, I want to be fit. What's the vision? Anybody? What's the vision there? I want to look a certain way. Nothing wrong with that. I get the vanity of it, but let's be honest. That's okay. No one says, hey, how many crunches are you going to make me do? You don't want to know that answer. You don't want the process. No one wants the process. We want the outcome. And that's what vision is, the destination. Principle number 3. This one is critical. Once you know what you see, once you know what you want, once you know where you're going, or where you're guiding a client, you will have 2 options. You can choose vision, or or you can choose convenience. Those are unfortunately your only options. Vision will cost you convenience. Let's say you have a vision of getting incredibly fit. It's going to be inconvenient. You're not going to like it. Dave was telling me he was in the gym last night. Not going to like it. There's a lot more convenient options. Here's a fun fact for you. One of the things millennials pay for most, the things that probably make it impossible for many millennials to get a home, is convenience. I have the food delivered to my house. It's all done for me. I don't have to work for it. And when we have a big vision, if we can imagine a big life, it will cost you convenience. You want to be the top broker, you want to be the top agent, you want to be the top of anything. It requires loss of convenience. And the dramatic effect that vision has is paid for by convenience. I'll give you a couple examples of this, just in my life. Let's just talk about being a dad. Okay, we're done. That's all you need, right? If you're a parent, you get it. But there's way more than that, right? If you run a company and you're responsible for employees, who gets paid last? Yeah. Been many times where I've had to float payroll. That's inconvenient. Trust, very inconvenient. Having good relationships can be inconvenient. Leaning into people that you love, inconvenient. It's inconvenient. But once you adapt to this idea that leadership and vision actually allow you to cut the wrong things out of your life and elevate the right things, it becomes really powerful. Now, these three principles are really important because without them, it's very difficult for me, in this case, to help you craft your vision. I'm going to walk you through a framework really quickly so that you can have more detail of what your vision looks like. And to do that, we're going to go step by step by step. Little tiny baby process in what we call the VOS, Vision Operating System. That directive has been something that has been battle tested. I've done this for so many flipping hours, it drives me insane. But I love this. Hopefully that's obvious. But the idea of vision here, the idea of finding something you're willing to fight for, is about these three principles. That if you want to grow, leadership is necessary. You must be willing to commit to leadership. Second, once you have vision, that is where your leadership will take you. And third, you may have to pay the cost of convenience. We aligned with those principles? At least energetically for right now. You might also be like, bro, this is getting real. Bro, Raggy. I think that you are capable of so much more. I do. And I want to call you to rise as you think about these things. When we start to outline vision, what may come up for you, and we'll have a little bit of time for questions. What may come up for you is, Aaron, I don't know how. And it's okay not to know how. It's all right to not know the way, as long as you know the destination. You need two things when you call an Uber. You need your location, where you started, and you need your destination. The rest we can trust we'll figure out. But as we go through this framework, I want you to just embrace the unknown, embrace the discomfort. As I ask you to journal some stuff out, I'm going to write some of your answers on the board. We're going to get into this a little bit. We're going to have a little bit of fun. And then before you know it, you're going to be like, oh, this makes total sense. You ever seen one of those artists that like they paint and they're just slapping paint on the wall or like the canvas and then like none of it makes any sense? And you're trying to decode it and everyone in the audience is like, what is it? This guy crazy? Like, what kind of drugs is he on? And then they flip the painting upside down. And you're like, oh my God, it's an Oprah high five an elephant. Oh my God. Like, how did he do that? This will kind of feel like that. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to start with one question at a time. This will probably stand out better. Dun, 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 dun. First question. This is, you guys all have a piece of paper, something to write with. Need a pen, need a paper, need a brain. I think you got at least one of those. I'm hoping. Yeah, if you need to write on your phone, you can do whatever you like. I'm just going to put one of the words up here. I'm not going to write the whole sentence. But I want you to imagine 3 years from now, you at your most successful. You at your best. Don't write anything yet. Just take a minute. Like the best version of you. You know those habits that you've been trying to kick for a while? They're gone. The mindset that you've been like, I'm going to adopt that, but it hasn't clicked in yet, you got it. All of the outcomes that you've been chasing, you hit. the kind of focus and clarity that you want, it's there. The relationships, the people, the practices, the little things, the systems and dial-ins that you've been like, I'm going to build that. They're building. Just imagine that place. Can you see it? Start to see it a little bit. I want you to imagine what you have. And just write this out. What do you have? Do you have a different car? Do you have a different house? Different wardrobe? Think about the objects that you have. What is on that vision board? This is where you're allowed to gas the objects of your desire. You have nice things. You have good clients. You have better practices. Just be creative. Just write those out. You have a trainer. You have a coach. You have a mentor. What are you investing in? Where are you putting your time, your money, your energy? Are there any subscriptions that you have? Any practices that you've adopted? Think about what you have. Anybody want to share? I can't see you online, but if there's a way to, maybe you can pop things in. If there's a way to hear what you guys have, put it in the chat box. I'd love to hear. Anybody, what do you have? Yeah.
Well, I think because I'm older, I have, broader vision, but
I love it.
well, you come to an age where you kind of realize, start counting these things. But my vision board has always had. Oh, sorry. So my vision board has always been to move into a newer home, believe it or not, into another city outside of Arizona, and work my referral database here with my daughter while I work into another RE/MAX office in another city, possibly in North Carolina.
Nice.
And I want to be able to take an inheritance. My mother recently passed away, so my vision is to be able to invest in land and develop land.
Nice.
And working out, just being more committed to going to EOS fitness and working out. And then I want to take the role that I'm in now, and I want to be able to release my responsibilities to my daughter and potentially a couple other agents as a team, so that I can play more as wife and Hannah. Oh.
Love it. Let's hear two more. Who's feeling brave? Yeah.
I will have developed my, the mic. I would have finished my book.
Yeah.
And I would have a global community of girls that I'm leading.
Love it. Community for girls.
Yes.
Brilliant. Great share. Let's hear one more.
I'd have more time to travel and play golf and more money to share with others.
Golf. Travel. Giving. Great. Okay. 30 seconds. If those things inspired you to change or add to your list, you got time to do it right now. I would include things like giving. Is there impact that you want to make? Is there something like publishing a book? Anything that you want to add to your list, now's a great time. Once we start thinking about what we want to have, though, we're just scratching the surface for vision. I think we all have things that we want. Yes? I hope so. There's a pursuit of more that is important. Now, what you want more of matters. One place that you can look for finding and refining your vision is where are your values. What do you care about the most? What are your permanent priorities? So maybe some of you don't value having clothes or a wardrobe. You might value adventure. You might value trips and seeing the Grand Canyon or seeing monuments or experiencing culture or food across different continents. But we need many of these things to be able to do part two. The next question. I love this thing. I love this thing so much. This was on my half list. Like, what you're seeing today has been a part of my vision for a long time. This is part of it. Okay. Of the list that you have on what you would have, now I want you to write out how you would feel when you have those things. How would you feel? Confident, capable, indomitable, strong, brave, courageous. Write out the adjectives, the emotions that would be captured by having those objects, having those outcomes. I feel infinite. I feel connected. I feel charming. Get some of the emotions out. Emotions are the gateway to change. Now, here's a fun fact as you're writing. Most people want growth. Most people despise and run from change. They are inevitably intertwined. So how would you feel? Get some language out. If the book was published, if you had the team, if you were able to travel and play golf.
Fulfilled.
Fulfilled. I like it. We'll get some, we're gonna use a different color. Let's go purple. So we got fulfilled. Fulfilled. Feel free to shout these out. These are great.
Confident.
Humble, confident.
Confident.
Did I get the other one right?
Yeah.
Humble and confident. It sounded like humblement.
Successful.
Humble, confident. Love that.
Or available.
Ooh, that's a great one. Successful, available.
Secure.
Ooh, we're getting the good stuff. Yes. Secure, magic. Come on, we got some more. Peaceful, brilliant.
Brave
Ooh, love it.
and strong.
Brave, strong,
Grateful.
grateful.
And complete.
Ooh, got some depth coming out. I want to balance this out. We need 4 more. Purposeful. Purposeful. Ooh, yeah. See, y'all don't know what's next, but I do. It's getting real good. That's why I need 3 more. Don't overthink it. It's on your sheet.
Innovative.
Innovative, energetic.
Proud.
Great. Innovative, energetic, proud. Okay. Brilliant list. Phenomenal work. You're 2 steps down, closer to vision. We're not at the magic yet, but we are at the beginning. Here's an interesting thing I've learned as I've done this work. Most of us live 2 lives simultaneously, broken by a degree of time. We have this mountain that we're trying to climb. The mountain I like to call there. I want to get there. You know what happens when we get there? We move the mountain. We're like, bigger, definitely. Now, I am case study 101 for this. I'm like, you know what I'm going to get? I'm going to make 100 grand. Made 100 grand, nothing changed. But I said I would do all these things, right? I'm going to spend more time with my family. I'm going to go with my mom on the weekends. Didn't do it. I moved the mountain. Because everything that I really wanted existed over. We call this the second mountain. This is where all the meaning is. This is where all the magic is too. This is how I help leaders collapse the time. Because here we're like, no, I've got to get there before I can do this. And this is the hack. I'm going to walk you through that hack in just a moment. But this hack is really interesting. I coached a guy one time. He had a $5 million business. He said, Aaron, I'm calling you because I know you can help me double my business. I said, absolutely. Let's do it. Now, he didn't know that I had the medicine in the cheese. And when we double the business, we change the structure, we change the org, we change responsibilities, we change the offer, we change all. We do holistic transformation for companies and businesses. It's awesome. But he didn't know that. So I'm like, why do you want to double? He's like, well, it took a long time to get here, but eventually he's like, then I can hire an EA and I can spend the mornings with my daughter. I'm like, how old's your daughter? Like 7. How long will it take to double? A couple of years. I'm like, dude, you're going to miss it. That time is too short. Also, why the hell do you think you need to double your business to spend time with your daughter? Doesn't that, like, that doesn't make any sense. Now, I'm very lucky. I spent most of my 20s hanging with people in their 80s. I learned a lot from people in their 80s because they can look back with hindsight at what you're looking forward to. But the second mountain for him was about spending time with his daughter. And that didn't require running the business with more. It required running the business with less of him, right? It became the thing we had to cut. What we started to do was decode a vision where he didn't start his day until 10 a.m. And he spent the whole morning with his daughter. Didn't need $5 extra million to do that. He did different priorities. The reason that I asked you for this list is that this list is the secret to your vision. This list is a secret to more for you. So what I want you to do now is think, if you felt this way, what would you do? And I want you to pay particular attention to these words, because if you felt confident, you might do something different. If you felt successful already, you might do something different. And here's the story that exists in my mind. I'm like, well, when I feel successful, you know what I would do? Well, Aaron, I think, let's get more money. And you know what I would do if I was successful? I'd come speak. I'd share my story. Or I'd challenge people. I'd write a book. I'd learn to dance. All these things that don't require this list. So I want you to take 30 seconds, maybe a minute here. And I want you to write out, if you felt this way, feelings on your list, what would you do different? Would you go talk to middle school kids about being bullied? Would you go speak to a Girl Scout troop about your career, about your profession? Would you publish a book? Start a podcast? Offer your experience to somebody? Would you go connect with your friends more? Would you offer to host? I love strong. I love grateful. I love peaceful. Secure is great too. If you felt secure, what would you do different? Would you dress different? Would you share your art finally online? Would you write the poetry that you've been wanting to write, but it's like scribbled in a journal and no one knows about it? There's something big for you in this. The feeling is the catalyst for your vision. I'll give you an example of this as you write. If you're in the zone, stay in the pocket. Don't let me distract you. Guy says to me, Aaron, when I have a net worth of X, it was a big number. I'm gonna be confident. I'm gonna feel really confident. I'm like, okay. Well, what would you do if you felt confident? He's like, oh, that's easy. I'm like, yes. Like I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna use this totally against him. And he's like, oh, I would approach women. I would go like I want a date, but I'm really scared to approach women. I'm like, oh, okay. The disconnect is obvious. You're waiting to get to a place so that you can do the thing that you need to do now to get confident. It's like you have to be confident to go. You're not gonna arrive at confidence one day like you found it on the floor. But oh, there it is. I've been looking for you. Not gonna work like that. You build confidence, right? But when we can describe our feeling, we can orient our intention. And the way we do that is we find these feelings. Anybody have anything that's come up that's like glaringly obvious? The thing that you would do if you felt a certain way? Or are we feeling afraid? Because now you've seen it. I'll give you another example. A guy said, let's see if the word is on here. It is not. His vision map was I would have a team. He's like, that's what I want. I want to have a team that helps me with all like my logistics, my planning, my travel, my running of my life. I have a team. I'm like, how would that make you feel? He's like, I would feel like a leader. Then I asked him what he would do if he felt like a leader. And he was like, I think I'd go give back. I think I'd go help. If I had a team, I would go help more people. Now, do you see the disconnect there? Why the gap is miles, right? So he's here in Arizona. he wants to go help veterans, runs a business that is not related to veterans. But I'm like, hey, dude, we got to fix this. You can't wait. Veterans are dying 22 times a day. You can't wait on this. So we built a flywheel for his business, and now he has a business and a nonprofit that exist together. And the more the business grows, the more the nonprofit grows. Now, I'm not asking you to be that evolved right now. What I am asking you to do is to write out what you would do if you had these feelings. I want to hear from a couple. What would you do? I know it's scary, but what would you do? Somebody need help working through it? What you got?
I will complete my book.
Okay. So which one of these words, you had mentioned fulfill?
Mhm.
Okay. What's holding you back from writing your book?
Lack of attention,
Okay.
intention, I guess.
Okay. So what's the emotion that is necessary for that to grow, to be more prioritized?
I guess focus,
Hmm.
focus.
How do you get more focused?
Cutting out the things that don't align with the
Yeah.
goal.
I'll show you that.
Agreed.
Always the answer. Can we say no more often? Now, ultimately, this idea of vision that I'm hearing from you, right? If we look at do, if you felt these ways, what would you say no to? So this might be important for your list. If you felt this way, what would you give yourself permission to be like, done? Because there's something that needs to be cut for you to be able to take this on. And somewhere in this box of emotions is the confidence, maybe the bravery, maybe the strength, or the I'm already complete for you to be like, I don't need to do that anymore. Because the book is most important. Now, let's make the gap even wider for you. You think the book would help somebody?
Absolutely.
Multiple somebodies?
Absolutely.
Like how many multiples of somebody's? Thousands?
Millions.
Millions. Okay. So what is taking the priority over helping millions? When you put it that way, uh-oh.
Yeah.
So this is permission for you to look at the emotion that you said, if I'm fulfilled. If you were already fulfilled, the book would be an easy priority. It would become that because whatever else is lacking would be non-existent compared to you have a mission, you have a vision. That vision requires cutting. Let's go back to this graphic. Where did I put it? Somewhere over the rainbow. Here we go. Right? So there's some kind of false yes right now. Chop, chop. Do you know what that is? You don't have to say it, but do you feel it? It's uncomfortable.
Right. I agree.
So it might be time to look at what is convenient versus this book. Because it sounds like that's got a big, very big purpose.
It does.
That's a great share. Big round of applause. Anybody else want to walk through there? By feeling courageous? By feeling brave? Would another example be helpful? Or are you stuck? Are you stuck or afraid?
Jill. So so years ago, I had a vision that I carried on my heart for a long time. And I know that it keeps coming back and I know that I want to do this, but again, I'm afraid as well. And I have all the tools, everything necessary to do it, but there's something that's just holding me back from stepping out my comfort zone right now. And and everything, like I said, is available to me, but something's holding me back. So the vision that I've had for years was to buy land and to put on their stepping stones. The division is basically a rehabilitation center for women.
Nice.
And work it as, as a place where they would have a first 30-day transition of detoxing, and then they would go to the next building or, house or whatever. And then from there that they would learn their skills. And I have this vision of like this huge barndominium-like place, where they'll be out where they can learn skills and cooking and just the basics, how to maintain financials, things like that.
Wow.
And then work, it would be a 12-month program, basically.
Wow.
And I've had that for years, but I don't know why I just don't step out of my comfort zone and do it, because the land is there, the finance is there, but there's something in me that's just holding me back. And I think because I'm unfamiliar with creating the business plan for a 501(c)(3). I think it's a nonprofit organization is what I was told that I have to, there's so many steps, and I think that in my mind, I'm thinking like I'm too old, I'm 65, I can't figure all this stuff out, and am I too late in the game to do it? So I don't know. I have this vision to do it, and the land is available, and I just have not stepped out of my comfort zone yet.
Love to share. Love it. Can we go there?
Sure.
You guys in with this? If we go here, anybody have like a resonance with this? Like connect to it a little bit, whether it's a big dream or something that feels too big, or I don't know how to start. Okay, so I appreciate you being able
I think if Jill read Monique's book, she
Yeah.
would be
to.
all
Now, let's stay. Okay,
I felt that when she was
Yes.
staring, it's like there's something.
yes.
something there. Big dreams die in the number of steps between them. Right, so if we look at where you are and where you want to go, it's like, where do I start? And the likelihood is that this is your roadmap. So the idea of leading in this way, how can you lead without owning the facility? What's a place that you could go to begin leading in this manner?
Probably to the right connection that would help me to learn more about where to start.
And who would know that?
My brother.
Okay,
He
That-
of course he's created a lot of 501(c)(3)s and
Okay.
he's been in real estate for over 50 some years. So he's actually my mentor in almost everything that I do.
great. So that's one example. Who else would have experience in running a facility like this?
There are a couple people that I know on a personal level, and then of course the state. I looked into a place where you could actually go to take classes.
Okay, so there's
To
classes.
write your business plan and to apply for the 501(c)(3)
Yep.
exemption and all that.
Applying for the 501(c)(3), I can walk you through in 3 minutes. It's just a long wait. And we can do that in a week, right?
Okay.
But that's not fear. Fear is once you do that, it's real, right? Because leadership is scary. Leadership is the responsibility. Right now, the responsibility is I got to take care of this thing that I just opened. This vision is now coming to life. This mission is now breathing life, and I've got to go. And that means something will have to be shed, right? So there's a cutting in every ounce of growth, right? Pruning. If you want to get anything done really well, who could you talk to that's already doing this would be another question, right? So somebody that's already got a facility would be a great place, right? So that's a great step. How long would that take to send 3 text messages?
Maybe about a minute.
Maybe about a minute. Okay. What are you guys doing for the next minute? You guys got a minute? All right. You got at least 1 text to send.
My phone was going dead. Oh. I
You wanna
need a
use mine?
charger.
Can we get a charger?
Charger, not good. No, USB MCC.
Now- So, who do you know here that's real close to you? Can you create some accountability to check in and make sure she sends at least 1 text today? Now, look, this is real for all of us, right? The step seems massive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I can't build my vision. How do I do this? But that's not how it works. The way it works is we start with responsibility. What's the smallest thing that I can do today? And can I just start the momentum? Because eventually, just like in anything else, once you get momentum, you won't be able to stop. Once you build this structure, you won't be able to stop. Sure.
Jill, my name is Roberta.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I'm gonna introduce you to the person on the third one there. You know your brother. I'll introduce you to the third one there.
Okay,
And then I'll keep you accountable. You're gonna call me tomorrow and tell me you got all that done.
okay.
My card.
but I'll take it part again.
So the second piece, so that's like a baby step, right?
Right.
Everybody get that? It took a baby step, right? All the way down. I think often we get caught up in the friction of such a big step. And rather than go like, okay, I got to get fit tomorrow, fitness doesn't work this way. Why would anything else? Right? If you want to go to the gym, do you see any results after the first day? Like nothing. It almost feels like you go backwards, right? You're like, this sucked. Like this totally sucked. It's inconvenient. But eventually, we get traction. Now, the second part of bringing this up is, okay, if you had the facility, how would you feel? Like if you woke up in the morning and you were like, there are people that need this. How would you feel? What's a word that comes to mind? Is it committed?
I would feel like it'd be a big responsibility and yeah, committed, but I'd want to put my all into it. Be totally committed
Yes.
to these circumstances of, you know, trying to help women that are homeless on the streets and
Beautiful.
dealing with addiction and bad relationships and stuff.
Great. So here's where vision also gets twisted. Let's go back to these three. Mentally, we're like, when something happens, then I'll be committed. Ain't that funny? Like, that's kind of weird. Like, if my son was like, hey, Dad, I want to go to the store, but I want to stay at home, I'd be like, well, that's a tough one to really puzzle. We have to commit first. Now, the fear of commitment might be, can I make this? What if I fail? And it's possible. But once you own that, hey, this could totally bomb out. I could totally bottom this thing down. If you have all the ingredients, you still bake the wrong cake. And if there are people that need you, we need you to commit to them. Even if the commitment is, I'm just going to make one action a day. I'm going to write something. I'm going to journal something. Like the smallest little thing. I'm going to make a phone call. I'm going to tell somebody like, hey, I want to do this. Magic happens when you speak it. And I find that anything that you have on your paper, if you will summon the courage to speak it, you can have it. But if you can't talk about it, you definitely can't have it. And more than likely, I'm willing to bet this was one of the first times that dream has been vocalized in front of 40 people. Plus the how many are there, right? The more you say it, the more that can happen. You spoke it one time and a person says, I want to help. So there's something about a daily action that will help you bring your vision to life. Baby step. Do you think you're the person that could bring this to life right now?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
And you know that there are people that need help.
Yes.
Okay. What do you think you're afraid of?
I think that I'm most afraid of getting the right people involved to help run the facility.
Aha. Great. So we found the fear.
I'm not to sound arrogant or anything, but I'm confident in the vision and bringing it to life. It's having the people that are willing to commit to working.
Sure.
Because it's not like, you know, working at an office or anything. The variables that are going to be involved are very challenging.
No doubt.
And
Yeah.
so you really have to have the heart and the compassion to commit to a job like that.
Nice. Wonderful. This is true for all of our visions. It's very easy for us to get caught with right. I pay attention when I'm in like coach mode, which I'm sort of in now. I'm listening for every word, every nuance. And one of the key words I look for is when do people say the word right? I want the right diet. Well, that ain't going to work because how do you know? That's a lagging outcome that we're going to measure on the backside. You'll know when you have the right team after you hire them. You can't know that they're the right person before you hire them, right? This is the right skydive from the ground, right? That doesn't make sense. I'll know that it's right when I land.
Yeah.
And there might be an interesting disposition of like, well, I'm going to get it right after I get it right. Because that's how I would decode that structure, right? The feedback loop. Now, this is true for all of us, right? We make it way more complicated, and all of a sudden, we're like, I have to get it correct. I would say that if you can change anything, try to do the wrong thing every day. Just see what it's like. Because you can't really break something that isn't there yet.
Right.
You're the best position of all the positions. There's no risk. The only risk would be maybe embarrassment. At the worst, she calls and she's like, "Ah, I didn't do it." But if you can go help a lot of people when you're committed, you do something daily like this, you can bring that vision to life. I would be willing to bet in a year, you could have the outline of a facility, a 501c3, a light team that's just volunteering to help you get off the ground, a bit of the right connections, because you're already well connected here, I'm sure, and a mental model or a business plan written out for what you want to do. That seem possible for her?
Yeah.
Yes.
So in 2016, two of my friends and I decided to start Holly House. And we called it Holly House because it's on Holly Street in Scottsdale. We envisioned our vision was to have a sober house.
Nice.
And run it ourselves. And so we built it, so it met and aligned with the city of Scottsdale group home guidelines, as well as the Arizona Department of Health Services guidelines. So it would have the correct permit. We bought a 5-bedroom, there's a 4-bedroom, we converted the garage, so we have 10 beds in there. And one of the things that was important to us is that it needed to be economical and pay for itself. So we started this ourselves and quickly realized that we like to refashion real estate more than we like to, make eggs every morning for 10 people and, make sure everything, all the, details are. So we put an operator in there. Great folks. Cornerstone was our tenant for 4 years. They grew to have 11 sober houses. For the first 2 years, this sober house was a female sober house. It was women that were living in there, and that was great. It was fine. They converted it over to men, that were coming back that were not only veterans but they were disabled. And then after they had 11 homes, they decided that they've got too many managers and they got too much windshield time delivering eggs and butter everywhere. So they bought a hotel, an apartment complex, a 90 door apartment complex up here in Glendale, and they consolidated there. So we congratulated them, said great. We went back up to the market and we got these two brothers from Chicago. They grew up in homeless, sleeping in cars, sleeping in garages, and 2 of 5 kids. It's just a mom and 5 kids. They moved out here and they got certified to do respite. Anybody know what child respite is? It was awesome. When we met these guys, we were thinking, what is this thing? And it's Access Insurance, state insurance, that really helps the single parent. So this is about giving the single parent weekend off. So we have 10 of these little kids that are picked up Friday at after school, and they keep them all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. They return them home Sunday night to mom or dad, so the parents get the weekend off. And there's 2 adults that are in this house all the time. We had to go through extra, certification as the owner of the house in order to meet that level, because you got 10 kids that are in your house. We had to refashion the backyard and the playground, all that. So
That sounds like a lot.
So this is their second home. These 2 brothers are now building their 3rd home in Mesa, and they've been great. They've been awesome. My home is available for me to do repairs Monday through Thursday. Nobody's in there, so great. I get to go in there and fix the seat, do whatever. So I've learned a lot about how to do this, and so happy to get on a phone call with you and help you navigate, what it takes to get this thing going.
Hell yeah. My time is almost expired, but I want to leave you with a couple thoughts. The intention of today is not to indoctrinate you into some philosophy. It's to get you to write something on paper that you can begin today. like a big facility, but it might not be a big facility. It might be into the gym, going for a walk every day, or calling your kids, or calling your parents. Could be any one of those. My parents are at my house now, and with a 3-year-old and my parents. I feel like I have 3 children. Don't tell them I told you that. But there are these moments where I have to go back to vision. I don't know what your relationship is like with your parents, but sometimes I'm like, it's fine. But there are these moments where I can connect back to what I wanted. There's a version of me that would prefer to be convenient, to let them go do their thing, or to not challenge a boundary, or to not assert what I want to do as a dad. And then I think back to what the vision is. And if I think of the vision of not only me as a father, me as an entrepreneur, me as a son, some of these things start to come to life. And now I'm forced to make a choice between convenience and my vision. I think largely we can get caught in a trance of allowing convenience to feel like growth, that we can feel like we're expanding. We might be improving, but we're not growing. Growth requires 3 principles. The first is that you have to embrace being a leader. You have to know that it's going to come with responsibility, with new challenges or a new command of what you have to become. But that's okay. That's part of the job. That's what growth looks like. Whether you're leading a team or not, you still have to lead with more responsibility. The second thing is that the only way to take someone to a destination in sales, in relationships, in friendship, in health, is to know where you want to go. To get really clear on that destination is very important. It's incredibly important to know where you want to go. Because if you don't know where you want to go, you know what we call that? Lost. And if you don't have vision, if I went to a doctor and didn't have vision, you know what they would label me? Blind. So if you don't have vision, it's time to get your eyes checked. Work on that clarity, work on where you want to go. And last but not least, if you can make the commitment to inconvenience, to cutting out the things that are keeping you where you are and letting yourself rise, allowing for that growth to take place, if you're willing to confront the difference between your vision and convenience, you may find that you accelerate way beyond your wildest dreams. I've watched change happen dramatically in 6 months. It's my job to make the current reality imperceptibly different to what is possible. And I love my job. I get to take guys that they're on this path to success, and like everything around them is burning. Their relationship with their wife is not great. They're not seeing their kids. Their health is out of order. And we change all of it. And I know it can happen, but it takes a wild set of inconveniences to make it happen. I hope that from here you can have a conversation. Maybe I'll even tee you into it, to have a conversation with your neighbor about what came up from today. My job as a coach is to make sure you move. That's what someone gets when they sign on with me. You will not stand still. It is impossible. And if you think I'm fired up here, wait till I have an ounce of coffee, and then I come to a Zoom call. This thing is just me and you. Woo, ching ching. But I'm here to help you move. I'm here to help you rise. Ultimately, I think leadership is a privilege, and we get the opportunity to do that every single day. You can do it at the gas station. You can do it with your kid. You can do it with a neighbor. You can do it with your friend. You can do it here when someone speaks what they want, but it is all available. When you hear it and you see it, you'll never unsee it. The world needs a lot of people to step into their power and own what they're capable of, and I hope you embrace it. Thank you.